salesperson is living in the 90s still, trying to conduct a sales call the same way they did for the last 20 years, and it simply doesn't work anymore.
It's Wednesday, and the window is open. In this extended conversation, Alice Heiman and Dr. Karla discuss changing sales and the power of relationships. Let's listen in.
Partnerships can be very valuable, and that's a great example of how you can partner with somebody who maybe that is their expertise or interest or passion.
Yeah. Well, and a lot of founders do go out and find co-founders. If you are a technical founder, finding somebody who, right, is a go-to-market expert, or if you're a go-to-market expert and you have an idea, you need a technical founder to build it for you. So either way, I think is good. But to try to do it yourself, you're bound for failure because you're not going to do what it takes to get this product to market.
Yeah. Now, I know you've been in this industry for quite a while. You used to be with Hyman Miller and then launched off on your own in 1997, right? Is that when you
Yeah.
started your own? What have you seen really change? I mean, the world has changed so much over that time. How has sales changed?
Well, I think the first thing that's changed is you can't reach people anymore, right? So in the 90s, you could pick up the phone and people answered. I mean, they did have back then some answering machines, but it was just more likely that people would pick up the phone and answer it and you could talk to them. Now, they could still hang up on you, of course, but because, when you're doing cold outreach, you are interrupting people. So you have to be aware of that. But I think that that is a big difference. You can't reach people by phone anymore in most industries. There are a few industries where you can still call and get people to answer their phone, but it's really very rare these days. So I do believe in picking up the phone, but yeah, it's very hard to reach people. So that's one thing. Back then, email was new. And so people weren't getting so much of it and they were kind of happy to get it. They read your email. People won't read your email anymore unless it's got an excellent subject line that's all about them, right? And it's got to have a message that's all about them. And it also has to strike a chord at that moment, right? Because even though they might be an ideal customer for you and eventually will buy what you're selling from someone, it may not be on their mind this minute. And so they would just delete it, right? So email is very hard, and it wasn't hard when I was, first selling in the 90s. It was much easier to get to people that way. So I think those are two big changes, under one category, which is how do you reach people? Now, some things that haven't changed is that trade shows, conferences, events are a great way to get to meet the people that you want to meet. And getting an introduction is still a great way to meet someone. So those two things haven't changed. And a lot of people still use trade shows and events and conferences as a great way to meet people. Some do a better job at it than others, but they still do it. And I think most people, like I mentioned before, just totally forget that you could find someone who could introduce you. How hard you're going to try to meet them by cold outreach, you could do about a tenth of that and probably get an introduction from someone. So it's really something that everybody needs to consider. I also think that the amount of information coming at all of us, and I know that you feel this too, and everybody does, it's just so much more than it was 30 years ago. And so we have to break through that noise somehow. Well, that is not easy to do. So we have to be more and more clever in order to break through all that noise. So I think that's something that has changed. And I also think that AI has made it much easier for buyers in a way, but also harder. And the same on the selling side. So if I decide that I have a problem that needs to be solved, I am going to, I used to go ask my friends, oh, Karla, do you have a favorite CRM, for a small company like ours? What have you been using? What have you found? Do you like it? I would ask you those questions. Then when Google came along, then I would Google and get some information, but I'd still ask my friends, right? And kind of get what did Google recommend and what did my friends say, and then maybe I'd try some things out myself. And now we go straight to AI and we ask it to research for us, to collate information, and then to pick out the best. So then instead of me having to go through 10 different companies who offer a solution, the AI will narrow it down to three for me or whatever I tell it to do, right? And it will have extensive research behind it, and it will know who my company is because I told it and how I'm going to use it, and it's going to know as much as it can about those solutions that I'm looking at. So now I come armed with all this information, and a salesperson is living in the 90s still, trying to conduct a sales call the same way they did for the last 20 years, and it simply doesn't work anymore. So that's changed a lot. And the way a sales call has to be conducted, especially the first call, is very different. So I think these things are making it hard for salespeople because we're not training them to do any of them.